This conference will now be recorded.
Right, let's start today's session. So in the last session, we were discuss about REST API introduction, and we just create a small API, and we have seen how to generate, how to retrieve the data from database. First, let's flip to your project. After that, we'll continue from there. I'm opening your project, which I created in the last session. Your project is present in desktop. So let's go to users and Lenovo and desktop. In this desktop, you can see my REST project is your project name and this window. So this is what we have seen in the last session. I just create one application. So this is application name. In this application, I included models. Model is nothing but database class name or file name employees. And I registered this model into admin panel. And also in the settings.py, you can see your application name and REST framework also required. And the view section is there. EMP details view is there. This is inherited from API view. This is the class-based view. And now class-based view is having get method and post method. I want to get the details of employee objects. This is model instance. Model instance will be represented into JSON format only. Finally, we will get output into API window only. Once we run this server, so that you will come to know what is this. So this is a project level URLs and application level URLs. This is class-based view. First, let me run this, and next example will continue. Python space manage.py runs up. Let's hit this request. We are getting the response in the Django REST framework API window. This is called JSON format only. We are retrieving the data from database. This concept is called serialization concept. Okay, what we did so far in the sense serialization only we are doing. Serialization means converting complex type, that is model instance or query set object, into Python type, and Python type we should convert into JSON type. Finally, we are displaying into JSON format only. JSON is nothing but open standard format for any application. Now today we are going to do deserialization, but before deserialization, we are going to write one simple application, how to read the data using function based view. Also we'll look into that. So after that, we will go for API testing also. Then we can go for deserialization concept. So for this purpose, I'm creating a new application. Before that, I need to talk about serializers. Look at here, every application, I'm going to create a serializers.py. This is the main file which is involved in REST API. So serializers allow complex data such as query sets and model instances to be converted into native Python types that can be easily rendered into JSON or XML, other content types only. Serializers also provide deserialization mechanism. That means that will be converted from complex type to Python type to JSON type only. So I'm going to create one API using function based view. But look at here, in this application, REST app application, we create a API using class based view only. Look at here, this is my class. This class is generated from API view only. So now let's close this all the tabs which I created previously, so that you will get clarity once again. So one step by step, I'm trying to create. So first, let's create one application that is called REST app 1. How to create application, you know that. Python space manage.py REST start app REST app 1, sir. So this is a new application. Now this application we have to include in the settings.py immediately. Now you can see REST app 1 is available here. Let's go to settings.py. Immediately we can include REST app 1 here. I'm including REST app 1. REST app 1. This is. Let's close this. So once we include REST app 1, let's go to REST app 1 only. This is application. And here I'm trying to include models, sir. So what model you want, you can include that. So I'm creating simple model. So class name is employee models dot what actually model model. Sorry, models, sir. So here I'm taking employee fields. Employee name I'm taking, models dot char field I'm taking, max length equals to 20. Next employee address equals to models dot char field of max length equals to 20. Max length equals to 20. Next employee email equals to models dot char field of max length equals to 20 or 30. So these are the fields are employee model. This model I want to register into admin.py. Let's go for admin.py. Now this time I'm going to register into admin.py with clear display. So REST app 1 dot models import what model? Employee model. I'm going to create model admin class here. So employee admin of admin dot model admin. So list display is, you know that, because I want to display all the employee details into table structure format only. So ID is the unique ID will generate automatically ID. Then next ename, employee name. Next address. Next email. This is what our data fields. Employee name, employee address, employee email. So in admin.py we have registered. We have to register that. This register. Decorator register I'm going. At the rate of admin dot register what model I'm going to register? Employee model. Done, sir. After registration completion, go to terminal window and make migrations and migrations. Now you can see Python space manage.py, make migrations. Migrations are over. Once migrations are over, Python space manage.py, migrate also we have to do. Then it will create a table. Once table created, you can create a super user. I think already I created super user in the last session. What was the name of super user? I think Mohan only. Let's try it with that. So now let's start the server. To start the server, Python space manage.py, run server. I'm going to join as a Mohan admin person. I can insert few records into this. Now you can see here /admin, and I'm logging as a Mohan. Our application name is REST app 1. In that REST app 1, we have employees details here. You can see there is no records are available, but I want to insert few records clearly because I want to read this data in different style, and also after generating API link, I want to test the API also whether it is working or not. So that is important. So that's what I'm using: ename, address, email. Now save and another one employee record. Next, one more employee. Other employee. That's all. So we successfully inserted 3 records are in this database table. So records are displaying in the stable structure because of model admin I created. This is, because it is a Django code only. Many times you have seen this type of code here. Now observe here. Next, what I want to do, I want to create a serializers.py file. But look at here, serializers.py file. If you want to create, you can create directly REST app 1. Now right click on it, or else you can copy this REST app serializers.py from there into here. Let's create a new application, new py file with the name called serializer. Let's go to new under REST app 1 Python file serializers.py. Py is not required, automatically it will create serializer.py. So in this serializers.py, before going to write the code inside the serializers.py, you can observe once REST app serializers.py. So in the REST app serializers.py, we use model serializer. So if you use model serializer, advantage is just model name we can specify, fields we can specify. Automatically this serializer class will collect the data from models only, model fields only. You need not to re-declare the models here. This is done, but different way I'm showing now. In this serializer class, I'm creating separate serializer class. In this class also, I'm collecting models, model name every time separately. So I'm not going to use any model serializer class right now, just for practice. So from REST framework, okay, from REST framework, import serializers. And I'm creating serializer class. My serializer class is what actually? EMP serializer class. EMP serializer, which is inherited from serializers dot serializer only. Look at here, serializers dot serializer. This and this previous one difference here, model serializer is there. So that's what I didn't specify any field separately. Directly model equal to employees I use. But now this time I'm taking only normal serializer class. So that's what we have to specify all the fields again. How to specify all the fields? You can see id equals to serializers dot char field. Then now you can see max length equals to 20. Just if you want, you can use max length, otherwise not required. Next one field it is, this is one field, first field. Next field is what? Ename equals to serializers dot char field, max length equals to 20. Next e-address equals to serializers dot char field of max length equals to 20. Next email equals to serializers dot char field max length equals to 20. So what is the problem in this example? How many fields you are taking in the models.py? Again, you have to include in the serializers.py also. Why? Because I'm not taking model serializer class. In the previous serializers.py, we use model serializer. That is useful, but this also have to do practice, how to create serializer class, which is inherited from serializers.py. So just I'm taking. So ename, e-address, already I included here. This is serializers.py, sir. Because serializers.py class is only taking responsible model instances into serializers class. Serializer class will be converted into JSON type only. That is the advantage. So now we have to create a view section. So let's go to view section here. So REST app 1 view section. In this view section, we have to create a view, sir. To create a view, then now this time you can see I'm including from REST app 1 dot serializers. Import what serializer class is there? Employee serializer class is there. Serializer class is required. And from again REST framework, the models also we have to include or not? Yes. REST app 1 dot models, import what model is there? Employee model. From REST framework dot renders method is there. JSON renderer is there. What is JSON renderer here? See, sir, JSON renderer is used to render serialized data into JSON only. This is the purpose of JSON render method. JSON render method is used to serialize that serialized data into JSON only. Serialized data means complex type to Python type. After that, it will convert into JSON format. Sir. This is the responsibility of JSON renderer here. That's what I included JSON renderer here on the top of the program. Now next HTTP response also required. This is Django response. That's what I'm taking. Django dot HTTP import HTTP response. So these are all header section. These are all required. Employee model is required, sir, because we are taking this model instance only and display them into client only. And JSON render is converted serialized data into JSON format. And HTTP response I want to display. And EMP serializer class is already there, which is coming from serializers.py file, which is available in REST app 1 only. Now I'm trying to create a view, but this time you can see this, I'm creating a function-based view, sir, not class-based view. Okay, function-based view I'm creating. So let's try to create one function-based view. EMP underscore detail is my view. EMP details. Now you can see request comma PK I'm taking. Why PK? Because I want to get only one particular employee record whenever I call this function based view like EMP details only. PK means ID, primary key. User will pass which primary key ID, that ID details only I want to display that. So that's the reason I'm taking here EMP underscore details request comma PK only. Now I need to create a query set object. EMP equals to employee dot objects dot what get method is there. Why? Because ID equals to PK. In case if you want to get all the records, then we have to supply here all method only. But I'm taking only PK means primary key. So user will type which ID record he wants. He can able to type it. Now EMP equals to employee dot objects dot get method ID equal to PK only. So this only particular employee detail I want. Let's create a serializer object here. Serializer, it's my object name equals to EMP serializer is a class name. So I'm passing query set object to this employee serializer class as a parameter. So finally, this serializer object is created for employee serializer class. We are supplying model instance. This is query set object only, no? Yes. So what model instance, which ID number you are passing here, that model instance we are passing to the employee serializer class. Employee serializer class will take care all ID, e-name, e-address, email from database. Okay, from model, then it will convert it into what format? JSON format. So finally this serializer object data I'm going to convert into JSON format only. To do that, I'm just taking JSON underscore data. It's a variable name or object name. Who is responsible to convert? JSON renderer method is responsible to convert from serialized data into JSON only. This is serialized data. This serialized data I'm converting into JSON data. Who will convert that? JSON renderer method will convert. JSON renderer dot render. Okay, render. Then which data you want to convert? That serialized dot data only. Serializer dot data. This data converted into JSON. Finally, this JSON data I have to give as a HTTP response only. So how to give HTTP response? Return HTTP response, then JSON data I'm sending. But what is the application type, content type? JSON type. Compulsory client should know that which content type. So content underscore type equals to application dot JSON. Because in the previous example, when we run in the Django REST framework window, application type clearly is there. Application slash JSON is there. That I'm providing here. This is JSON. Okay, this is what actually one simple view, function-based view. This view is only for getting what? ID equal to PK. For particular ID number through, he will get the record. And we are responding to the client in the format of JSON only. So for that here, JSON renderer method is there. JSON renderer method is converting responsible for serialized data into JSON format. This JSON format I am going to give response only here. That's all. Let me create one more view because I want to, sometimes user wants to get all employee records, then he can go for one more view. EMP underscore all underscore details. If I try to give this emp underscore all underscore details, now the user, when he call this view, then immediately we will get the all records from the database. So all records purpose, again we have to write employee is a query set object, employee is a model dot objects dot what all. So this is the way to use all. But now here also we have to create serializer object here. Serializer equals to then employee serializer. But here I'm taking what actually emp is a query set object, but you have to mention many equal to true, sir. Why? Because you are reading many records. So that's what many attribute is there equals to true. Now this serialized data converted into JSON data or not. So again we have to render. How to render this? Same thing like this. Let's copy this 2 lines and paste into here, sir. So 2 views are there, simple. This view and this view difference is what? This is only, sir. This line is difference. When user will hit the request through view emp underscore details, then only particular ID he will get. When user is hitting this request emp underscore all underscore details view, then user will get all records, sir. So in the previous example, in the previous session, we discussed same example, how to read the data from database like model instances, how to render that into JSON type using class-based views. But now we are trying to create function-based view. So function-based view through we are getting model instances and convert into JSON type only. This is called serialization concept. So deserialization also there. Deserialization means simple, taking JSON data from the user, and that JSON data will be converted into Python type converted into model instances back to the database only. This is called deserialization mechanism. Okay. So up to now we have used only serialization we are using. So later sessions will come across deserialization also. Deserialization means sending the data from client to database. Serialization means getting the database data into client location. Simple type. So once again, I'm giving clarity, sir. Serialization means complex data, that is model instance. Model instance means model object record or query set to what actually? Python types. Python type to JSON type. This is serialization. Deserialization also there, no? Deserialization meaning is what you know? JSON data we should accept from the user should be converted into Python types, and Python type should be converted into complex type, means model instances type only. This is the concept overall in the REST API. We are going to do like this only. Okay, why serializer class is there as a mediator? Because REST API purpose is we can communicate with different applications. Okay, Django application, Python application, Java application, .NET application, Angular, different applications. So JSON is the common format to understand any language or any type of application, sir. So far we are doing only this, sir, serialization only. Even I have not started deserialization. Means we are communicating with the database model instance. I'm converting into Python type to JSON type. Finally, end user can see the JSON type only. So now these 2 views I have to execute. To execute these views, compulsory URLs required in the application. So already in the previous application, urls.py is there. Let's copy this file and paste into your REST app 1 also. Yes, we can do it. Instead of creating URL file separately, paste them here. Once we pasted here, and automatically REST app URLs will come. But I am working with my application 1 URL, so change the application name here. And now previously we can see we worked with class-based view. That's what as view I'm giving. Now this time I'm changing the URL section, sir. So user, when he entered that only emp slash, then I'm going to call what view? This view. Only particular, sorry, this view. All views. All the details he will get. Only emp means all the details he will get by calling this emp underscore all details here. But once user is trying to enter the request, that is API resource slash int pk, means primary key. yes, user will pass with ID. Then at this time, I have to call the view actually. What view is accepting ID number? This view. So this view I'm going to use as a URL. So that's all, sir. These two views. So user choice. Sometimes user wants to give the details. ID number one only. So first view. Let's first I'm going to mention this one and later. Any order you can use, not a matter it is. So emp slash int pk means user need to enter that ID number through. We are calling emp underscore details, and emp underscore details means ID number will goes to here pk. That ID number only we are going to get the data from database. This is model instance or query set object. Query set object we are passing into employee serializer class. This is serializer object. This serializer object will be passed here into render method of JSON render. This JSON render method is responsible to convert serialized data to the JSON format. JSON format I am sending response here. So HTTP response. So client should know that which type of application data here, application slash JSON content type. Okay. So similarly, when we go for this URL also, now you can see emp views dot emp underscore all details. Now this time you can see this, it will call emp underscore all details, it will convert and response will give to the here only, HTTP response. Okay, so let's try to run this, how we can able to use. But actually we can include this REST app, okay, urls.py we have to include into project level also. So let's include project level URLs also. I have included previously only one application URLs, that is REST app URLs. Let's name it and make it side. And let's give your current application without name so that directly I can able to send request from the current application. So include, so REST app one, REST app one dot URLs, REST app one dot URLs. So now let's start the run, sir. I'm ready to run the server. And in the database, like you can see, 3 instances are there, model instances, 1, 2, 3 records are available, sir, in the database. Okay. Okay, server is not started. It's stopped actually. Let's start the server. Now observe here. We are, oh, okay. Reload the server, start the server. Hit this request. Now I don't need to admin panel. Let's hit this request /emp/1. Now you can see ID number 1 is coming in which format? JSON format, response only. So JSON format always into curly brackets and square brackets clearly. But right now here it is curly brackets. This is JSON format only clear. And if user is entered only this emp slash, so all records are coming or not. Now you can see multiple records purpose. It is available in the square bracket and square bracket ended. Inside this each record will be representation format. This is JSON format, sir. Now previous one and this one is, what is the difference actually? In previous one we got the display in the REST framework window, sir, but this time we are using Django response, sir. Why? Because you can notice this in this example in the view section, HTTP response I'm using. This HTTP response is what actually Django HTTP response, and it is rendered into the default page like JSON data. But in the previous example, you can see REST app example in the view section. You can see what response I'm giving. This is REST framework response, sir. Look at here. This response is coming from REST framework response. That's what in the framework window, especially API view class is there. No, this class is inherited from API view class. That is going to represent REST framework only. Both are same, but we are changing here different style only. You will understand slowly what is this difference between REST API window and normal HTTP response only. Right now I'm sending this into HTTP response only. Okay. Now, so your API is ready, sir. Where is my API, sir? Let's try to run. Let's try to show you. This is your API. I want to show you. Now you can see this is your API. API link. Let's copy this. And now you can see this is your API, sir. Okay, /emp/ or ID number 1. This is called API resource. In my previous lecture of document, I said that this is base URL. This is API resource. API resources must, sir. You can test this link with any application. Okay, whether this link is working or not. Generally, the programmers in real-time application, that links will be added into their application. This links, API links will inject to application. So client or end users, whenever they can communicate this link through, it will communicate with different application. Okay, this is API links, we can say that. Sir, how to test our API, sir? Yes, let's try to test our API, sir. Okay, so to test our API, whether it is working, but you are running directly link, but it's working here only. But if you are going to use this link into other application, it has to work, no? Yes. So now I'm going to do testing API. To test your API, so look at here, for every Django application, even in the Django's time also, when we were create application, every application is having one file called default file tests.py, TESTS. When we double click on it, you can see create your test cases. So this is the file already available for testing your API only. So now, or else you want to create your own Python file, you can able to create. Okay, but no need to create. Now you can see test.py. I'm going TESTS test. I want to test my API here. So how to test the API here means, let's try to write. So for testing the API, first we have to import request object. Yes, request module have to import REQUESTS request, because we are sending request to the API node. So that's what request is required. Which URL you are using for request, sir? This is my URL, sir. What is that URL? http://127.0.0.1 Okay, this is my port number slash emp slash id number 1 I want to get. This is my API resource. So whenever I run this test.py, I'm running Python file. I'm not running Django application. Okay. So Python file through I'm communicating with Django application. Django application can communicate with the view. View can bring the data from model. Model data will transfer the data to serializer.py. Serializer.py file will take the inputs and it will pass to the view. View is having JSON render method. Just JSON render method will convert serialized data into JSON format. It will give HTTP response to the user when we run this test.py. Okay. Now this link is ready, sir. I want to test. So R is a request object here. Now we can say request dot. It's a module name. Request dot get method I'm taking, and URL equals to what URL already passed. Already you have declared URL node. This URL I'm using here. Otherwise, you can, in place of this URL, you can copy this URL name and paste it here only. Okay, yes. So R is a request object. Now emp underscore data, employee data, I want to store here only. This data should be what format? Actually JSON format only. So that's what I'm using, JSON, r.json. Your request object should come from JSON format only. Finally, JSON data I'm assigning to emp underscore data. This emp underscore data I want to print into my terminal window because it is Python file only. That's all. Now, don't run your Django application directly. You can run this test.py. Got my point? One important thing you have to notice, sir. Sir, we prepared Django REST app 1 application, but we are testing this application whether it is running or not using API link, where we are testing in the test.py. So which file you have to run? Python file you have to run. This is a Python file. So now, before going to test your API, compulsory this REST app 1 server should be ready, sir. So first, what we need to do, simply you can go to terminal window. First, start your server of your application. Python space manage.py, run server. Server run compulsory. After server run compulsory, so the API link is ready and it is in active mode only. Now this link is working or not from other application like Python application. This is test.py. Test.py, we have to run it. So how to run test.py means don't run here only, because we have opened local window. One more local window you can open here in the terminal window. There is a plus symbol is there. You can click on plus symbol. Right now we are in the new window. In this window already your API link is ready to test and server is running mode only. Now we can go to local to window, but you can see this, your project name is my REST project. But which API you are testing? REST app 1 API you are testing. But are you in REST app 1? No. So you can move to REST app 1 only. How to move to REST app 1? CD space REST app 1. So after moving to this application, now in this application, which file you are going to test? Python file. What is the name of the file? Test.py. How to run the Python file? You know that. Python space test.py. That's all. Because you are executing test.py. Notice that when we execute this test.py, automatically request will be sent to this API link, and this API link we are getting request object through r equal to request.get url equals to url. We are getting the request, so emp this link only, and this link through automatically this API resource url name emp/1 it will go to Django application, and Django application will send the JSON response. The JSON response we are storing and printing into this terminal window here only, in the local 2 window only. Once we hit this server, now you can see we got the result into here. This is called EMP data. So your API is working fine. Sir, how I can do this all records? Now all records purpose, you can remove this ID number 1. So now you can go to here and run python test.py. Now this time you will get all records we are getting. So we are testing what, sir? Here, Python application. So from test.file, this is test.py file. We are requesting to API, okay, to get employee data, and API will send request to what application? Django application. This EMP, where it is there in Django project, view section is there, it will go to view section here. So this view will execute, communicate with model and bring the data, and this will get the query set object. Where query set object we are sending to the serializer, employee serializer class. This serializer data will be converted into JSON format. This JSON data format we are sending to the API back again in the test.py. This API is going to take this request object, and this will be object into converted JSON format. This is employee data we are printing here into terminal window of Python file. So Python application is communicating with Django application through this API here. But in reality, many applications, not only Python, Django, Java, .NET, multiple applications can communicate with multiple applications with this API only. So this is called API testing clearly. Okay, so this is about today's session, how to create our API in Django application, REST application, how to use that API link into Python application, how to test that. So testing is working fine, sir. Here we are not running directly Django application, we are running simply Python application only here. So this is about today's session, function based view through how to create your API. Only up to now we discuss only serialization concept only, means we are communicating with the model instances we are bringing and convert into Python type to JSON type. In next session, we'll go for deserialization, means we are passing as an input to JSON format. JSON format will convert into Python format. Python format will convert into complex type format only. Okay, yes. So project explanation next week, Saturday, for sure I'll explain. Okay, 2 projects are there. I'll explain all the projects. No, don't worry. Wait for a few days. Okay, because in this session actually other students also there, for them it's completed, that is what I stopped. So in the next weekend literally I'll stop them and I'll allow you only 7 AM batch for project explanation. I'll take care of that. So last class recorded video I said already, but why you are not getting, I don't know. REST API 2 only. Yesterday's session was not happened. 2 sessions are already sent to you. Please check in the Google Drive and shared folder. But many of the students are asking, even if I share the video also, okay, again we are not getting like that. Go to Google Drive and shared folder is there, you can check it once. 2 videos you got, this is the 3rd video you will receive after few hours, and your next session will be, you can check in Google Drive shared folder. I sent 2 times, you know. Even Sweta also send a message like I didn't receive, means again I sent that. 2 times I sent, but why you don't get, I don't know. Please check that. It's there in saved folder in Google Drive. And next session will be on Monday. Why you are not getting, I don't know. Just wait.